Good morning. My timeline, April 30th. April 30th? It's Friday. We have the launch party today. So Miss Hannah and Jewel share studio space. And it's the first time that they have a studio and where, you know, they can work on their products and get those ready for the markets or to ship out. And so they, you know, they created this launch party for their loyal clients and customers, and that's today. So we're definitely dressing to impress, because there'll be like videographers and, you know, or a photographer rather, and just taking pictures throughout the day. And I'm gonna get there a little early just to help with a few things, but really we're just gonna try to relax and just kind of, as it comes out, right? And so so that's happening today, hence why, you know, I'm wearing my Hannah Frost earrings, the North Star earrings. These are amazing, by the way. Don't mind my little creature right there. I indulged earlier this week. But this is the North Star, and I love the back of it because, okay, so I've always wanted to get more than one piercing, but I was never allowed to growing up. And so when I saw how Hannah wears her earrings, at least these, she actually, because it's long and the backing is flat, she actually like loops it in, and it looks really nice, like really nice. And I was just like, oh, like I just want to get a second piercing just so that I can do that and buy more of these earrings that, you know, that she has, because it's just the idea of like looping it. I just fell in love. I fell in love with that. And then I have the matching necklace. So it's the North Star, but for me, it reminded me of North Node on our birth chart. You know, and there's something to that, I'm sure, right? Like Peter Pan followed the North Star. I'm sure there's something to that. But anyways, so I decided to wear this, and I have a black dress on, and you know, just to, you know, that's what I'm gonna wear. But it's been hard this week for me. It's been hard emotionally. I got triggered and realizing like it's the end of the month. And I've been spending a lot of time with my ex, and you know, he's been helping me out with some stuff, and we're, you know, just splitting up some of the responsibilities to make them more clean cut and just separate them, you know, where we don't have to share certain things anymore. And just being there like 2 days in a row. And then, you know, his family was there, and they invited me to have dinner, and I had dinner with him too. He invited me to have dinner, and so there was this, I mean, we've always been really great friends. I feel like our connection was really, because we'd known each other for so long and been in each other's lives for so long. Like, he's just family, right? And so there's this level of comfortness, you know, talking to him. For me, there's always this ease, and I can't speak for him in terms of his perception of our continued connection, but I know for me, his family will always be my family. But there was this sense of like familiarity almost, in the sense of like, I remember what this felt like oh, I remember what this felt like. And I mean, I've been struggling a lot with the sense of like being on my own this week. I don't know, it's the full moon. I know I recorded, I was a little emotional yesterday. That something else got me triggered. But knowing that it's the end of the month. Knowing, okay, I gotta prepare financially for the next month. And I know I have enough for one more month. I have another one on my mind. It's getting real. It's getting real. Getting real. And that insecurity and that fear kind of set in. Just a little. And wondering, like, you know, my tutoring gig is going to be done in a month. Okay, I need to start planning, you know, like, the charge in me is like, I need to do something different. I need to find another side gig. Do I find another side gig? I don't know. Like, a lot of unknowns. I had mentioned that I had a backup plan. I have 2 backup plans. Worst case scenario plans, right? That I was comfortable with. The last case scenario was me living in my car. I don't think I shared that the second to last scenario was that I would move back. I would move back, that I'm like, I have no shame. That I'd go to my ex and be like, hey, you know what? Like, for a time period, like, I supported you while you were figuring out what you were doing. And you know, tables have turned. I'm now in this position and I need help, right? Until I figure out what I'm gonna do. And being comfortable, right? To let that pride down and ask for help. Really, ask for help. Whether it was from him or from family. I recorded yesterday on second chances. MJ's message this morning. It's called Second Chances. And she's talking about the situation. She's talking about that situation with my ex-partner. Yeah. Because there was this thought yesterday when I came home. About second chances, right? Because I had recorded on that in the beginning of the day and thinking, like, you know, people can change, right? People can change. I'm a big believer that people can change, right? I wouldn't have been in that line of work or even as a teacher if I didn't believe that people could change. And so when people change, right, they can only hope for a second chance. And I just was wondering, had he changed? Had he changed? And there was a part of me that thought, do I really want to come back? Even under those circumstances. So that lingered for most of the day. Because of that insecurity of like, well, what do I do? Even though I'm getting all the signs are there that I'm on the right track. To not give up. You know, the real life experience is a little different. You're worried, your fear sets in. So last night, I've been crying. So last night I was like, okay, you're right. And this morning I'm like, okay, this is where we practice faith, right? Like we say we have it and now we're practicing it. When you practice it, you walk into the unknown. And so MJ's message this morning highlighted something that I didn't even realize, and how grateful I am to be tapped into tarot as a guide, as a tool, right? To bring to a level of awareness something that I may have not picked up on, so that I can then be aware of it and do something different. Realizing that not everybody wants that level of awareness, like just thinking about my partner and thinking about, you know, his family and his parents, and they've shared it where there's this, and I've had other friends who've shared it where there's ignorance is bliss, is what I've heard them say. Ignorance is bliss, because what you don't know won't hurt you, right? The moment you know, You can't unknow it, which is so true. It's like the moment I see something, I can't unsee it anymore, and I have to do something. I can't just sit there and not do something about it. I think it was Frederick Douglass, who also wrote an essay about how he learned to read. I think it was Frederick Douglass. My student was writing a paper on it, and I was reading some of the articles and stuff and helping him. But he described his level of awareness when he learned how to read as something like the worst thing that could have ever happened to him, because now he knew information that he wished he didn't know. So it's not meant for everybody. I see that. I'm aware of that. But then when you don't open yourself up to that, then you're closed off to change, right? So you miss those second opportunities, those second chances, because you weren't open to being aware or increasing your level of awareness of something that how you operated, how you functioned in life, right? You'd rather just sit in these patterns, in these loops, and then wonder why. I mean, for me, I choose not to live that way, but to each their own. To each their own. So that thought, came in my mind about second chances. And, my ex is a great person, great man. He's a good man. A really good man, very kind. Like you meet him and you can't help but really like him. Like he's a really likable person. Like people fall in love with him. Like you can't be mad at him. That's how like that's just how he is. Like it's hard for you to get mad at him. He's a great person. Really great person. I'm so grateful for him in my life. But MJ was talking about patterns, right? And then I remembered it triggered a memory for me. It triggered a memory. Since I'm repeating, right? I've mentioned that I feel like I'm like a do-over. Like this whole experience is a do-over for me, where, 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, when I had multiple part-time jobs and I was going to school full-time and driving crazy, like everywhere. I was driving everywhere and I wasn't married yet. And trying to make ends meet, knowing that I just needed to push through. But fear crept in, and I completely forgot about this experience. Fear crept in when my parents officially, because they had separated, but when it became official that they weren't going to get back together, there was like this insecurity in me that came out, and I love my ex part. I love him. I do. And I was excited to get married. But there was this part of this belief that I couldn't do it on my own. And I was being supported by my family to a certain degree at that point in my life. And when I saw that things were just kind of unraveling, you latch on to whatever is stable, to whatever little control you can latch on to. And for me, was this relationship. He had been the one stable thing in my life. And I latched on. And I agreed to get married. Even though inside, I mean, I had told him even when we were dating, I don't see myself getting married. I don't see myself having children. I didn't really believe in it. But then here I was making this decision. Out of fear of not being able to do it on my own. For whatever constructs, right? And then on top of that, there were other constructs of like, doing the deed before you get married, like religious constructs, right? That you grow up believing that you have to abide by. And you know, until you realize you don't have to. If you choose to believe something different for yourself, why would I continue in a place where I'm not completely fulfilled? But it just brought me back to that moment in my life. And then realizing what my backup plan was of moving back in. I was like, oh snap, it's gonna repeat itself, right? If I allow it to, right? If I allow that cycle to repeat itself. And that realization this morning of like, oh snap, that can't be my backup plan. I think I might move in with my brother first before ever considering that option. But that can't be my, because I'm repeating the cycle all over again, right? And or, right, my backup plan is that it's not a backup plan. That's not an option for me. That I do something else, that I do something different, that I still find a way to be on my own. Believing that I can do this on my own. Believing that the universe will provide, because I've been doing the work, right? I mean, I cried. I've been crying and just like, God, I'm doing the work. Like, I'm doing what I'm being led to do. And having to have faith that it's going to be okay. So I'm repeating that process. I'm repeating that process. And knowing now, right, that I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Because that's what I did the first time, right? And if this is a repeat, a redo, then I need to do something different. But I didn't realize that was a pattern until MJ brought it up, until MJ spilled out and she like everything, like the time frame, the experience, the imbalance. It will include the link. I was like, oh my gosh, like she's just talking about my life story, right? And I know it's not my life story, it's our life story. Yesterday on the way home from work, I was listening. I still, you know, I pay the $33.33 a month for that bonus stuff. I listened to one of the bonus ones, and there was a great question by someone who asked, how is it possible that the reading is for the collective, yet personally it feels like she's being spoken to? I thought that was a great question, right? And I know I've talked about, like, we're all interconnected. And she speaks more to it, right? I mean, she's more in tune with her gifts, and she's aligned with what she's here on earth to do for us. And she talked about this level of energetic unconsciousness. Energetic unconscious energy. This level of like unconscious energy that we're all tapped into without even realizing it, right? So she explained it more, and it's just, we don't realize it, that's why it's unconscious, but we're all tapped into it. And the reason how we know is that when we hear someone's story, we're able to resonate with a little bit of it. Unaire, right? Maybe not to the same degree, but there's a whiff of it, of truth for us when we hear that story. So there was validation. I appreciated that question and that response, because it validated what I'm seeing, right, with and experiencing with this tarot reading stuff. And I'm sure the people who journal can relate to how I'm documenting, right? My journaling is video recording, that they can relate to the patterns maybe repeating. I hope. But I just thought that was bizarre. and grateful that I'm not alone in this process, that there are many me's struggling and finding themselves in a similar situation. That's all I wanted to share about that. So I feel better, trying to stay positive in my thoughts. And you know, things will come up, just like this opportunity came up with Miss Hannah. And seeing what's in store, what's coming up next. And yeah, I'll keep documenting, I'm gonna keep posting. And we'll see what happens. On another note, I didn't meditate today. I have to get going. But as I was waking up, I was in and out of sleep. And I was listening to the morning message, the second chance morning message, which I'll include the link below. And I'll include Jules' link and Hannah's link again in the description box below. But I had this quick image that shook me a little. And it was a police officer who pulled out a gun. And I don't remember if it was at me or in front of me. But that was a little worrisome. Just because it's the launch party today in the art district. And wanting to make sure I stay safe. It was someone dressed as a police officer, but I didn't get the impression that they were. That's how it felt. I hope they were. Maybe it's like just symbolic for authority, maybe. But I wanted to document that because I didn't know if that was meaningful to any degree. Or even when I post this, maybe something will happen then. I hope not. But, you know, just documenting. Yeah. So that's it. So just wanted to share that information. Hope you guys have a good one. Bye. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.